Wanted to start with Russia's activities along the border with Ukraine, which obviously have prompted a huge number of concerns about whether or not there's preparations for an invasion underway at some point soon. Bloomberg has reported that some of Europe's largest countries, Germany, France, and others, are worried about being too explicit, laying out too many of the potential options and the steps that the EU might take in the event of an invasion, even as obviously some countries are looking to try to figure out how to more firmly deter Russia from taking any more aggressive action. Are you satisfied with where the EU is on this and the stance it's taking, or are you worried that they're maybe underestimating the level of work that needs to be done to prevent something?
First of all, I think what is very important is that Europe is united in this, in assessment what is actually going on, but also what could be our answer to this. To me, it seems like Russia is creating a problem and then, just proposing to solve the problem that he or Russia has created himself. So this is something that we should not fall into. I think what is very important that European Union as well as NATO say that nobody outside European Union or NATO can tell to these institutions who can be a member of European Union, who can be a member of NATO, and how NATO or European countries defend themselves.
Are you worried that at this point maybe there isn't a sort of unified assessment within Europe about what Russia may be up to here? Washington's warnings on this have been pretty strong, and it's not clear that everybody is quite there at the same level of alarm about what might happen next.
It seems to me we are united here. I think both the reactions to Belarus and its hybrid attack on the European borders, but also the assessment of Russia's actions. So Russia is building a military around Ukraine. It has certain elements missing. So the question is, of course, what everybody has: are they bluffing, or are they really planning a move? But in any case, I think we shouldn't wait for the move, but send a clear signal of deterrence that don't think about this because we will react.
Do you expect the EU is going to be able to do that? If we have a gathering of all the leaders here these next couple of days, are we going to see something coming out of this that's going to send that signal, or is there still too much debate over how best to do that?
We're going to have long debates, definitely, but I think the overall approach that we are united when we go outside those doors is very important, and I think we can do that, and we are in this together.
Do the leaders of Western Europe, do the United States, do you feel that they're sort of fully representing and comprehending the needs, concerns, interests of the states sort of along the eastern border, particularly those that once were part of the Soviet sort of sphere? Are you being heard? Are you being consulted? Is that a healthy process at this point?
I think we have been members of European Union since 2004 and also members of NATO. Of course, it has taken some time that we are equal members, but we are equal members. We are consulted. We feel that we are part of this family. We are heard as well. I mean, before Crimea happened and before Donbass and Georgia, I think there were voices saying that we on the eastern border are maybe a bit Russophobes or maybe overreacting. But after Crimea happened, I think the message was very clear that we were not overreacting. And I think we are more heard in this case.
Okay, good, thanks. I want to turn to energy for a minute, if you don't mind. Some EU countries have been accusing Russia of using gas as a weapon to put pressure on the bloc, particularly to give approval to things like Nordstream 2, which is obviously one of the outstanding issues. Do you see any link between that pipeline and the current gas crisis, or even with sort of the Ukraine and the tension there?
We haven't been in favor of this Nord Stream 2, Nord Stream 1. We have said that it's a geopolitical project, it's not an economical project. And I think now everybody is starting to understand that it is very important with whom you are connected, because those connections can help you but can also hurt you. Yeah. So being connected and giving this tool to the other end of the pipeline, I mean, this is quite strong tool that they have in their hands. And when we see that we are vulnerable because we don't have enough energy, and who decides whether we have enough energy and at what price this is, and this is in the hands of our adversary, I don't think it's a wise move.
And is that playing in at all, do you think, the way the EU is approaching the sort of potential issues in Ukraine? I mean, obviously, it's a pretty awkward time to have a huge, giant fight with Russia, given the energy shortages we're already seeing.
Yeah, true. I mean, the dependence on Russian gas has increased over the years, not decreased, and this is something that is worrying. I mean, we our energy, or the energy that we use, is not so dependent on gas in Estonia, but overall Europe, it is dependent on Russia's gas. So this is definitely also influencing the prices here. And the last discussions we had about this were also mirroring this worry that now many countries who don't have a border with Russia have, or it has become clear to them as well.
Yeah. We're hearing many EU countries have become a little frustrated over the fight that's emerging between Lithuania and China over the status of Taiwan. Maybe this isn't the right time to have the fight. It wasn't all that well coordinated. It's sort of moving on in its own logic. How do you think the EU should address this spat? And is Lithuania sort of pushing this harder than maybe they should?
Again, I think it is important that the European Union stays united with all the relations that we have outside. So for us, this 27+1 format is important, and also that no European member is left behind. So we are stronger together when it comes to Russia. We are stronger together when it comes to China.
Yeah. So in that conversation about unity, we are seeing maybe some elements of that unity starting to fray around the current response to the Omicron variant in the fight against COVID. Italy just made its a unilateral move to require all travelers, even from inside the EU, to be tested before arriving there. We're seeing lots of other restrictions being imposed at varying levels with varying degrees of sudden notice. Is that coordination that actually had been working pretty well for a number of months, is it starting to break down a little bit, and can it be put back on track?
We will definitely discuss this in this summit, because there are two things. So one is, of course, the functioning of Schengen and our borders. On one hand, it is the feeling that all the bad things come from outside, but actually the virus is within all the countries already. So whether this is necessary, but the common response is something that is important when it comes to the COVID certificates, how long they are valid, whether it's 7 months, 9 months. I think we need a common approach, because crossing the borders, the certificates are the ones that are used. So we definitely need to have a common understanding. The scientific knowledge that we have about this Omicron, we should share as well. And we should have a common approach how we deal with this within the European Union.
Do you expect any pressure to remove the travel ban from Africa and put a different regimen in? Is that something that can happen quickly, or is that too complicated given everyone's concern about the variant?
I think it's too complicated. I think right now everybody's concern is there, and it's the concern of the public. As I said, it's not often that the bad things come from outside, but the people have the feeling that they do, and so it's easier to test people who come in, although we see from different countries that Omicron is already present and also spreading in various European countries.
Good. Excellent. Thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.